please introduce yourself.
So I'm Tony Radakin. I'm the First Sea Lord, the head of the Royal Navy, and it's a delight to be here.
Great, and it's a pleasure, our pleasure to have you here. First question, what was your perception or understanding of Islam before coming here compared to now?
So I'd like to think that I have an understanding of Islam partly through my education in the UK, but in particular I have served a lot in the Gulf, and I had 3 tours of Iraq, and I have a whole range of Iraqi friends. Now that really allowed me to understand Islam in a much more sophisticated way, but today has been quite special because I didn't really know that much about the Ahmadiyya community, and I've learned a lot.
Super. And what has been your impression of the exhibitions?
So the exhibitions have been interesting. Some of it is the sheer beauty of the art that's on display. The one that really fired my imagination was the project to ask different people, no matter what their religion, no matter what their nationality, no matter what their role, to participate in writing verses of the Quran. Now I apologise for my handwriting, and this was my first attempt at calligraphy, but the idea I think is both inspirational and beautiful, and I was delighted to take part.
Wonderful. Please tell us about your experience of Jalsa outside of what you've just mentioned. I know you've been to the chapati plant, the langar, etc.
Yeah, so this is my first time at Jalsa. I've really enjoyed the day. I've been fascinated at the ambience here. I'm really struck by everybody here is a volunteer. I'm impressed as a professional at the organisation to have nearly 40,000 people and to be catered in the way that they're catered and looked after, and accommodation and security and the translation services and the different events and the opportunities for prayer as well as the speakers. It's deeply impressive, and visiting the galley, I would call it a galley, being a naval officer, but for you it's probably a very large kitchen. It was very reminiscent of the large galley on board one of our aircraft carriers, and the piece that was also very special was the sense of camaraderie and people working together. So that was quite interesting. And then I was flabbergasted at the bakery, and churning out 120 or 130,000 chapatis a day, but also doing it with a whole series of happy workers speaks volumes.
Fantastic. And final question, you met the Caliph. What was your impression of meeting the Caliph, sort of before meeting him, now after meeting him?
So, if I'm honest, I was not that familiar with the Caliph and his role, and so it was a privilege for me to meet His Holiness. The thing that struck me, having listened to some of his speech, was how clear he was, and to me he seemed quite direct in terms of the way that he speaks to the community. And then meeting him, I was struck by a man that comes across as being humble. He has a fantastic twinkle in his eye, and I suppose he has that specialness that I think these people have when they have such phenomenal roles. And for someone like me, it's an honour and a privilege to meet someone such as His Holiness.